What is up, lovely ladies and lads of the interwebs? It is your boy, Stan, the man with a plan, the giant. Wanker! And it is an absolute joy, nay, a treat, to have all of your lovely faces here with me today, despite the fact that I cannot see any of you. So today we're doing something a little bit different, slightly different. I'm sure as you have noticed, I do not have a guitar in my hands, and it is just me sitting in front of you saying stuff. So last week I went on my social media, my Instagram and my Facebook, and I basically put out an open call to anybody who had any questions for me, any question at all. And you guys pose your questions, and today I am going to be compiling some of those questions and answering them and making a video for you, because that's the thing that people do now, and I thought I would try it, and so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, without further ado, let us jump into it. But before we do that, if you are watching this video from the YouTube platform and this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time that you are seeing me, I encourage you to subscribe. I am currently working towards getting my first 1,000 subscribers, and your subscription is going to aid me in a lot of ways, and I highly appreciate it. So if you can do that, if you can head over to my YouTube, if you're watching this from a different platform, and just click that little subscribe button, that would be absolutely kiff. All right, let's do it. Okay, Kutazo asks, what inspires you to keep doing music? So there's quite a few things that inspire me to keep doing music. The first one is a desire to not starve to death. As many of you may know, I am a full-time musician. So basically, doing music puts food in my belly, it puts clothes on my back, and it puts shoes on my feet. And if I stop doing music, I will die of starvation. So, in order for me to keep on going, I kind of need to do music. And the second thing that inspires me to do music is to help someone who's going through a tough time. So, like many other creatives and just normal people, I have struggled with issues of insecurity and depression and inadequacy in the past. And when I was younger, before I started doing music, I would engage in a lot of self-destructive behavior to cope with those feelings of inadequacy. And when I discovered music, and when I started listening to the music that I was listening to at the time, it sort of pulled me out of that, and it made me feel like I had some worth. It made me feel like I belonged somewhere, and it made me aware that I was understood in how I felt, and that I wasn't alone in how I felt. And when I started doing music, those feelings were amplified, and I got a feeling of purpose as well. Like I can do something in the world, and I can make a difference in someone's life. So that, that's what pushed me to do music. If I can create a song that does the same thing that music did for me for somebody else, then I will have done my job and I will have fulfilled my purpose. And that's another thing that inspires me to keep on doing music. Next question. Maxwell asks, what's your trick as an artist to keep your voice so brilliant, so gruff? Do you gargle, then swallow, then spit? Okay. So interesting questions, guys. I have a very eclectic group of friends. Oh, Maxwell. Okay, so to answer your question, I always swallow. Always have, always will. And anyone who does not swallow is wasteful, and they deserve to be thrown to the dogs. Always swallow. Okay. It's funny you should mention the gruffness in my voice, because I have to be honest, I don't hear it. Now, enough people who I know and trust have mentioned it to me that I know it's there, but I don't hear it. But to answer your question of how I keep my gruffness there, like I said, I always swallow. Okay, so Rocco asks, how long have you been jamming guitar? Now, before I answer this, I would just like to mention that Rocco is a fellow musician and he's in an awesome band that goes by the name of Just Passing Through, I believe. And they recently put out an amazing single that I think you should check out. And as I'm recording this video right now, they just put out a music video for it on YouTube. So I will be linking to that somewhere in the description or in the comments. And I advise you to check it out. It's a really cool song. I like it, and I think some of you might like it. And it's nice to just show some support for your fellow creatives. So if you can, please check it out. Let me know what you think. Let him know what you think. Subscribe to his channel. Click the notification bell and be a cool person. Please. It's please. Now, back to the question, how long have you been jamming guitar? Okay, so I've been jamming guitar for about 6 years now. I started learning how to play guitar in November of 2013. So I'm basically, let me just tell you a quick story of how this all started. Nobody asked for this, but I'm telling the story because it's my show and I can do what I want. Anyway, so in 2013, I had just come out of high school and I kind of failed a few subjects because I was really bad at school. And so I basically had to rewrite the exam for those subjects, and I was going to tuitions. And so at the tuition center that I was going to, I met a guy who had a guitar at his place, and I had always wanted to learn how to play guitar. And so what I did is I went home that very day. I went home, and when I was young, we had a tape deck player, a Sony tape deck player, and it had this really giant, thick, rectangular remote. And what I did was I took the remote and I drew a bunch of horizontal lines. I drew 6 horizontal lines and about 4 vertical lines to represent the frets and the strings. And that's basically how I started to learn how to play guitar. And at the time, I didn't even have a phone that had internet. I would have to steal my mom's phone every once in a while and Google a bunch of chords and write them down in a book, and then just practice those chords on the giant remote that I had, pretending it was a guitar. And every single time that I had a chance to go to my friend's place who actually had a guitar, I would try out all the chords that I learned and I was practicing at home on the giant remote. And that's basically how I learned how to play guitar. And the friend of mine who actually had a guitar sort of aided me in that he taught me how to play Hotel California. And because I think there's like 4 or 5 chords in that song, 5 or 6, I think, that really helped me get the whole thing of being comfortable playing a song down. So that's basically where it started with me learning how to play guitar, and that was in November of 2013. So yeah, that's how long I've been jamming guitar, and that's the story of how I started to play guitar. What is your fetish? Okay, give me a moment. I have a few of those. This is a very interesting question because if I answer it the wrong way, I'm fucked. And not in the good way. But anyway, like I said before, I have quite a few fetishes, most of which I can't really talk about on camera because that's not exactly a very good idea. So I'm just going to say redheads. I have a serious thing for redheads. If you're a redhead and you're watching this, please marry me and have my babies, or let me have your babies. Whatever it is, as long as you're a redhead and you will have me, I will let you have me. But but yeah, that's it. Redheaded women, they get me going, man. They get me going. They just do it for me. I hope this does not come back to bite me in the ass one day, but we'll see. Next question. Masuzio asks, what has been the most challenging thing that has happened to you during this beautiful journey you are on? All right, it's a very insightful question. So before I respond, I would just like to send out a very, very huge thank you to Masuzia herself. She's been a very good friend of mine for a long time, and she's very, very supportive of me as an artist and as a creator, in sharing my stuff and pushing it out and urging me on and being very encouraging. So before I go on with this, I'd just like to say thank you very much, Masuzio. You have no idea how much your kind words and your encouraging words help me. It's amazing to have someone like you in my life, and I really, really appreciate you. I don't think I can express it in the way that I feel it. So all I'm going to say is thank you very much, and I love you. Okay, I would say the most challenging thing that I have experienced was separating myself from most of my immediate family, sort of at the beginning of this journey. So when I started doing my gigs at a more regular pace around November of 2017, the people that I lived with at the time were none too pleased with that. And so tensions arose between those people and I, and it basically got to the point where they told me to either stop doing music or basically leave their house. And so I ended up leaving, and as a result of that, I had to cut a lot of people out of my life. And a lot of people that I had to cut out of my life were people I was very, very close to, and people who held very important and crucial positions in my life as a growing human being. And sort of being thrust into the situation where you don't really have those people in your life anymore, and you're supposed to start navigating this new life, created a lot of emotional stress. Let's call it emotional stress. And having to deal with that on my own, while also having to, do the gigs, go out and be jovial and do all of this stuff, it scrambled a lot of stuff up here, and that was a very, very challenging. It was a very, very challenging thing. It's still a challenging thing to this day, but I'm much better equipped to deal with it now than I was back then. So that's what I would say is the biggest challenge that I faced since starting my journey. Another thing that I would say was a big challenge was gathering the courage and absolute idiocy that I required to basically drop everything I was doing in Zambia and move to a new country. That was a very ballsy thing to do. It was mostly idiotic, but ballsy as well, and it was hard. It was really, really hard. I'm glad I did it. I'm in a much better position now than I would have been if I was still in Zambia, but it took a lot. It was a very, very challenging thing to do, and I'm proud of myself for doing that. So those are the two things I would say were the biggest challenges I have faced since starting my journey as a musician. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Thank you so much for checking the video out. All the links are going to be in the description or in the comments section for every single thing that I've talked about, so you can check it out as well. And be sure to check out all of my other videos on my Facebook, on my Instagram, or on my YouTube, and hit me up if you have any more questions. And thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope you have an absolutely banger of a day, and I will see you in the next video.